Welcome to Building Solid Foundations. This is your host, Steve Matley. Today, I'm going to be talking to you solo. I love having guests every week. We love talking to other people because I like learning and I like hearing from other people because you can only learn things from other people outside yourself. You only know what you know. So I like reading. I like YouTube's got a lot of great stuff on it, LinkedIn Learning, and I love having the guests in the studio because the guests always teach me things, even topics that I'm theoretically an expert on. I always talk to guests and learn more than I ever knew. But today is just going to be me sharing a few ideas that I have, and I obviously, as you know, if you've listened to the show in the past, I have a background in construction management, real estate development, real estate investing, and business. And when the downturn came in the early 2000s, I started doing business consulting in between when the real estate market was kind of low. It wasn't a good time to be doing a lot of the kind of real estate I had been doing. There was a great market for some types of real estate, picking up RIOs and those kind of things. That wasn't what I did. I do land development projects and land flips, those type of things. So I did dug into more of the business development type, and that's my background. Also, I have an MBA, and I've run multiple businesses. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the things, kind of a formula that I learned on how to get a business going up and running, and the things that address a lot of the obstacles that the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs tend to deal with. So this is Building Solid Foundations. We're on KCAA 1050 AM all over Southern California. Remember, if you miss us live on the radio, you can catch us in the KCAA archive on kcaaradio.com. We are also on the streaming services. We are on Amazon, we are on Roku, and we are on the Android app, Building Solid Foundations channel, which is a free download for you. Besides our show, there's a lot of really great shows. There's other shows. A lot of them are other KCAA shows. All right, so I'm going to go into what I call the foundations. My company is called Building Solid Foundations, which is what the radio show is named after. And I came up with an acronym on foundations. One reason I called it Building Solid Foundations is I discovered that most people who run businesses or starting businesses, they're really good at their trade. They're good at whatever they do. Hanging drywall, baking cupcakes, selling jewelry, whatever they do, they're really good at it. What they're not very good at is actually organizing and running a business, which is something that wherever they did before, someone else was doing that and they worked within that organization. And it's not the fun part for a lot of people. They enjoy doing what they do best. So I'm gonna talk through kind of a formula I came up with, which I looked at as the foundation. Every business, every part of your life needs to be built on a solid foundation. The foundation's not the sexy part. The foundation's not the fun part. You go to any building, any great monument in the world, really cool houses. You go to big government buildings, courthouses, and those type of things, university buildings. There's a lot of amazing stuff out there. We never look at the foundation. We totally miss it. And yet, without that, the building that we're looking at, that which we enjoy, all the architectural ingenuity and the engineering that's in there, we would never appreciate because that building would have collapsed. And the same thing with our business. We can have the trendiest, sexiest, flashiest, most popular type thing we're doing. Maybe right now AI is a big thing, so I get into AI and do all this stuff, but I don't have a solid foundation of the business under it. It doesn't matter how good my tech skills are. It doesn't matter how good I am at explaining that, teaching that, producing that, consulting with that, the business will collapse. Businesses mostly die in all sectors. Businesses mostly die because of lack of capital. They run out of money. And a lot of times it's not that they didn't generate enough capital, the capital wasn't being managed correctly. A lot of other times there's the organization. People burn themselves out. Most people start businesses, they keep their W-2 job while they start their businesses, and that can be exhausting. And that's why in the W-2 job, people forget that they're doing a part, and there's an entire organization doing all these other parts that support that. When you start your own business, you're it. When I used to talk with people who were starting, doing business consulting, they were starting their businesses, I would sit with them and we create an organization chart. And they thought that was crazy. Why would you need an organization chart if I'm a solo person? I don't need an organization chart. I'm the only person. I say, no, there's all these functions. So we go through the organization chart, and there's a CEO, and there's a CFO that deals with the money, and there's an operations person that would be a COO or a VP of Ops or someone like that. And then we got marketing, and we have IT, and then we have business development, the marketing and the sales. We have HR, we have procurement, we have accounts payable and receivables. We have all this stuff that's going on. And I would fill all this out, all these different positions, and then I would put their name in every single box. And they say, see, this is why you're exhausted. You're not doing a job, you're doing all these jobs. Plus, you may already be doing another job in your W-2 business that you have not quit yet because you're not financially sustainable yet to leave that job. That causes burnout. That's where people get discouraged, and it's just not worth it to them anymore. And that's where they also make mistakes because they're so exhausted. At the same time, they've not been trained in all those positions. A finance person, a CEO type person, a CFO type person who is really good at the accounting of finance and spreadsheets is an extremely different mindset, personality, and discipline than the business development person who tends to go out and do a lot of the handshaking and talking to people and sales and those type of things. Those are very different kinds of people. There's different training involved. The person doing the technology, the IT side of things, is not the same mentality whatsoever as the people working, say, in the purchasing department. So you're trying to do all things and you can't. It'd be like trying to be the one-man band. You're trying to be one person playing every instrument at the same time. That's impossible to do. But what is possible is to be the orchestra leader, to be the person that finds all these other people that does things and get them to work together. And as a startup business, you probably can't afford a huge payroll, but you can outsource things. So we're going to talk about that whole process. So let's get into this. So the foundations, starting with the F, is free yourself from the past. And what I mean by free yourself from the past is we have a lot of preconceived notions, things we've learned, our experience. And most people come to a business, when I ask them, why did you go into business for yourself? What was your motivation? I get the same three answers from everybody, regardless of what business they're in. So, for example, if you ever watched the old, but it's new again now with Steve Harvey, which is the Family Feud show, and they have the top three answers are on the board. Well, I get the top three answers every time. People tell me the same three reasons why they went into business. Number one, time. They want to be in charge of their own time, have their own time flexibility. Number two, financial independence. I want to make money. Okay, the money I make is my own, not a small part of what the company made. And number three, I want to be my own boss. I want to be in charge. I want to call my own shots, be in control. Generally, at that point, I ask them, how's all that working out for you so far? Normally, almost unanimously, the result comes back. Let's see. I am not my own boss because my clients are my boss and government agencies are my boss and the IRS is my boss and all my vendors are my boss and everybody's kind of telling me what I do. I can't really do everything I want to do my way. I have to do what fits with what my clients need, what my suppliers can give me, and the capacity of my consultants or employees that work with me. So that's dead. Number two, you're more stressed about finances than ever because you're the last person paid. You've got to pay your payroll. You got to pay your suppliers. You got to pay your vendors. You got to pay your taxes. You got to pay all that. And if there's any money left over after all that, you get to pay yourself. And usually, instead of doing that, you put that money back into the business because you have to grow it. So that's not there yet, unless you're very lucky. If you're a person that just happened to develop an app that got picked up and you became a multi-gajillionaire overnight, congratulations, but that's very rare. Number three, time. Now, they will say that what they did get was time flexibility. They get to work any 20 hours of the day they feel like. So they don't have any more time, but they get to work whenever. So they're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're working at 7 in the morning, they're working at 8 o'clock at night. They're working all the time, and they never get to rest, especially if they also still have that W-2 job out there because they're not over the hump financially yet where they can afford to leave that job. So those three reasons don't tend to work out very well. But I found there's actually another reason. So you got to free yourself of those preconceived notions. Free yourself of the idea that I'm doing what I'm doing, my trade, my discipline, my skill, and all I have to do is just do it for myself, and that'll translate into making money for myself, and forgetting that you're working in an organization where there's a lot of other people filling in those other boxes in the organization chart, and you will now be absorbing all those duties. And so you have to free yourself from that, past those preconceived notions, okay? And you have to bring yourself into what's reality. And the truth is, most people don't start their business for those three reasons, really. They say that, they think that, they may believe that, but they didn't. Because if that's all they wanted, think about that. If that's all you wanted was the time and the money and the being in control, you could do a lot of activities that don't require that much effort. A lot of them are illegal, right? You can sell drugs, you can, traffic people, you can get into illegal gambling operations, all kinds of stuff. Why don't they do that? Because that's not what they want to do. It wasn't just about the money and the time and being their own boss. It wasn't just about that. They do something well. They do a skill, and they want to share that. They want to continue doing that. They just want to be in charge of how that looks. They want to control that, and they want to make their own money doing it. They want to set their own course. But they want to do something that is beneficial to the society and the culture that will then compensate them. They tend to have a larger purpose in mind. So there's a reason they're doing it is deeper than what they originally thought. If they can focus on that, then the money, the time, and the being your own boss will come as a byproduct of that. So that's the F in the foundations. Is let's start with understanding the foundation of why you're doing what you're doing. And who are you, what are you, and why do you exist as a company, as a new business? And once you really understand that what you want to do is make the best cupcakes ever, do the best roofing job of anybody ever, create new and creative applications for computers that nobody's ever thought of before, and embrace whatever it is you're doing. Do people's taxes accurately, quickly, and with where they have a lot of trust in you. Whatever it is you're doing, if you can embrace that, then the other parts of the goal will come along. The money, the time flexibility, and being your own boss will come in time as you build the organization. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into, okay, if you're going to build an organization, how do we organize it? We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. This is Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations, and we're talking about building the solid foundations of your own business.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Hey guys, it's Damon, Mr. Foxy, Damon Hart, and I'm here with the real men of real estate. And I just want to say, hey, come and watch us this Sunday, 1 p.m. live, every Sunday. Okay, we're going to be on KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. If you got a minute, just tune in. We can't wait to have you here. I'm going to be there. If you can't make it on there, we're going to be at Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, or Android app on Building Solid Foundations channel. So tune in. You know what you got to do in the meantime. Keep it foxy.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, Head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations. This is Steve Matley. We're talking today about building the solid foundation of your own business. There's a lot of entrepreneurialism out there, some by choice and some not by choice. When I say not by choice, some people get laid off, they had life circumstances, their companies downsized or whatever, and that wasn't their choice. And it's not because they did anything wrong, it's just now you're out on your own. And so you're forced to do things. Maybe life circumstances. You had children and now you can't put those hours into the office that you used to. You want to be available to work at your own pace from home and still make enough money to live on. And so that drove it. Other people just make the choice. I want to start my own business. I'm an entrepreneurial type mindset. And that's what I want to do. It's what I've always wanted to do. So once we've freed ourselves from our past preconceived notions and our past experience of not having been business owners, and we get into understanding this is who I am, what I am, and why I want to exist. And I think this is where I want to be in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. That's kind of the vision piece of it. Then we have to get to the organization. You have to organize a business. Now, as I mentioned, you have to do a little organization chart. And it's crazy because you're thinking, well, why am I doing all this? But think about all the different functions that have to happen in your business that you yourself are doing right now. And don't be, falsely modest about it or kind of downplay any of this. These are legitimate things that have to be done. And as you grow and scale up, more of that will need to be done, and you cannot do it all. You, as a human being, are only limited to the same 24 hours a day the rest of us are, and you still need to eat, sleep, exercise, spend time with your family and relationships and those type of things as well. Because if you neglect that, then everything else doesn't matter. So organize your business, create the organization chart, and then start circling the boxes you want to give away first. Most people I talk to, unless they are in the accounting and finance business, the first box they want to give away is the accounting and finance box. Nobody likes it. So you know what? There's a lot of people out there that'll do that for you. Some are VAs, virtual assistants, that'll do that, but there's also, you can find bookkeepers out there. A lot of people coming out of, say, community college business administration programs, they have those basic skills. They understand how to use QuickBooks. They understand how to use the Office products. And they can do that sort of bookkeeping clerk work that's necessary to get things done. And then you can hire a CPA for them to feed that information to do the taxes. I recommend having one person do the bookkeeping and one person do the CPA, the tax work, separate people. And some of that's because when you're dealing with finances, you want a level of redundancy, different people looking over things. If the bookkeeper has made a mistake, the CPA can point that out. If the CPA has done something wrong, a lot of times the person putting the books in will say, that's not the way I had that figured out. And so it helps with a check and balance if you're not strong in that. You got to manage that money. So organize it. Figure out, okay, if I'm not a overly extroverted person, then sometimes the networking and the marketing and that kind of stuff gets a little difficult. And you have to force yourself to get out of your shell, but maybe there's other people you can connect with. So I have people that I work with that I connect with who are connected to everybody else. And so if I nurture that relationship with that one or two people, they have their huge sphere of influence that brings people to me. That for my company right now, they'll bring people that have land or property available. They bring investors to me. They bring potential buyers to us, development partners. And I would not know these people personally. I don't have that huge sphere of influence that some other people do. I have connections, I have social media, but not to the degree that some people do that are extremely gifted at being able to connect people. And so there's another box that I would gladly circle and say, I will give most of this to someone else. And you work yourself through the process of giving away what you can affordably through virtual assistants, through part-time help, and through connections and collaborations. So that's organizing your business. Understand your purpose. So the U in foundations, we've done the free yourself in the past, that's the F, organization is O. The U is understand your purpose. Now, this goes back to kind of when we freed ourselves in the past, at the beginning, in our mind, we also had to figure out in that process, who are we, what are we, and why we exist. That's understanding your purpose. Why do you really do this? And that was what I was talking about earlier. You're not doing this just because I want to be financially independent, I want to control my own time, and I want to be my own boss. Those are great. Those will be outcomes if you do this correctly. But that's not the primary purpose. That's the byproduct of fulfilling that purpose. So what is the purpose? Is your purpose to be the best wedding planner ever? Or is your purpose to connect people? Again, I mentioned connectors. That's a business that people have. They have massive connection bases, both socially and personally. And maybe that's a good business to have if you know how to do that. Whatever your purpose is, and it usually is something that is not just to do the business and the trade, but the byproduct is take care of your family. Maybe it's supporting charitable concerns that are important to you. Community benefit type operations, associations. Maybe it's for your religion, your personal faith. There's a lot of things that go into that purpose. Maybe it's to build a legacy through your children. So understand, why are you doing this? Because it's a lot of time, money, effort, and headache, more so than just punching a clock at a W-2 job. So understand, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I will say, if you're working a job for someone else, you also should have a purpose and know that the job that you're doing help support that purpose as well. So the company's purpose and your purpose align. So that's the U. The N in foundations is network. Now, I am not a person that enjoys networking and socializing, although anybody listening to this that knows me would say, well, you crazy? You network like nobody ever know. You're a very social person. Yes and no. I'm what's known as a social introvert. And what that means is I'm extremely naturally introverted. My makeup, the way God made me, the way nature put me together, is to be very much energy by myself. I enjoy a book. I enjoy earphones in, listening to music. I enjoy thinking and reading and those kind of things. Much more than going out. Actually, going out to large social events will give me some anxiety, stress me out a little bit, but I can do it. So I've trained myself to do that because I have to. It is not healthy to avoid contact with other people and not be social. We are human. Animal relies on being social, even for the people that are naturally have a bent towards being on their own. And understanding that I need to prepare myself for that, go to the events, be social, be cordial, look for ways to engage with other people so that I can help them, and in turn they can help me, and all that works out. Everybody wins in that deal, and build relationships over time. People work with who they know, who they like, and who they trust, and that doesn't happen with a 30-second elevator pitch. The elevator pitch is fine as a, hi, this is what I do, but honestly what's better as a 30-second elevator pitch is, tell me what you do in 30 seconds, right? Learn from them, and then figure out, what do I have to fit? I was at an event, actually several events this week. I was at an event this week, and I was talking to a gentleman, and everybody there was talking about real estate investing because that was the purpose of the event. Until I asked the question that everybody wants to avoid in that event is, do you still have a regular W-2 job? And a lot of investors don't want to say they do because they don't want to be perceived as someone that's not sustainable yet or not expert at it. It doesn't bother me at all. I happen to work at a college too, which is technically a W-2 job. So I don't have no problem with that. And in my own company, I'm a W-2 employee of my own company. I'm the president and 1/3 owner of it with my two partners, but I am also a W-2 employee of it because that's the way we structured it. So there's nothing wrong with that. But found out in his W-2 job, he supplies construction materials to a lot of the contractors and builders around town that I know who they are because I kind of work in that business. I place students into those companies because of what I do at the college. And I worked in that business as a construction manager. So there we had something in common that if we hadn't got to that point in the discussion, we wouldn't have known, and that builds rapport and that builds a mutual trust between each other because we have a common background. So you need to network and get to know people over time and build relationships. So get out there, meet people, and you're going to meet the people in turn that can go back and fill up those organizational holes you had in that organization chart we talked about. You're going to meet the person who needs a little extra money and is really good at bookkeeping, and you can solve their problem by getting them some income, and they can solve your problem by taking that horrible task of taking care of your own books that you've been doing a horrible job at ignoring, and they can take it and do it correctly and help manage your money. So you've found that connection. You can find the people that are the connectors. You can find the people that, in my business, I'm looking for people that understand real estate, people that understand investing, people that know self-directed IRAs, people that understand title, people that understand what's going on out of state, people that understand the home building industry, people that understand the commercial construction industry. All those people, I can't know everything. And again, I like to play more the role of an orchestra leader. I don't need to play the instruments. I don't need to compose the music. I don't need to be the expert at any of that. What I need to do is try and get all the best at what they do together and get them all to play in time with each other. And if I do that correctly, it's always a beautiful thing. And if I don't, it's probably a disaster, but that's on me for not coordinating that correctly. That's what I do. So network, get out there and network, even if it's the most uncomfortable thing you've ever done. And again, I have to prepare ahead of time for that, get my mindset in place. And then afterwards, I have to go through and kind of make my document, okay, who am I going to follow up on? How's this going to work? And then I have to recover, honestly. After doing a lot of socializing, especially if there's several events in a row, 3 or 4 days in a row, that's exhausting for me. And I have to be able to recover from that. So I'll recover from that by reading books. I'll go on a bike ride by myself, long one. Kind of regroup, walks, those kind of things where I have to have that solo time to recharge. That's the way I recharge my batteries. Now, if you're an extroverted person, that's the part that gives you energy. That's the part you love. And what drains your battery is sitting at your desk having to do the bookkeeping, sitting at your desk having to do all the follow-up work, sitting at your desk writing all the forms out and those kind of things. That's what kills you because you want to be around people. And so no matter what personality you are, you need to know that networking is important, but also understand there's other disciplines that need to get done. And that's going to be the D in our foundations is disciplines. So here's where the disciplines come in. You need to have multiple disciplines in your business, but you yourself also have to know what your discipline is. And you have to be disciplined. There are disciplines you have to do. We're going to get into that after this short break as we walk through the foundations of your business, the solid foundations. This is Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations on KCAA and on your favorite streaming platform, and we are all over most podcast platforms as well. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Waite and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Waite is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewaite.com or call her at 951-378-5316, 951-378-5316.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections. Hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hello everyone, I am Lynette LaRoche here at Fabulous Lifestyles Foundations Radio Show. So excited to have you here with us. We have so much to offer you, and we have amazing guests that we bring on every Sunday. So we want to make sure that you tune in on KCAA Broadcasting Network, because remember, this is all about having a fabulous lifestyle, and it can be yours to be had. So tune in every Sunday to Fabulous Lifestyle Foundation Radio. And we also have other radio shows that would be of interest to you as well in fashion, fun, and finance. I am Lynette LaRoche, and remember, you need to build a house before you can bring in the furniture.
This is Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations on KCAA 1050 AM all over Southern California. Don't forget, you can catch us on Amazon Fire, on Roku channel, on the Android, on the Building Solid Foundations channel. That's a free channel with this and a lot of other really great shows that you can learn from. There's a lot of different takes from different people on the different shows that are on that channel. We're also on your favorite podcast platform. So we're talking today about building the solid foundations of your own business. For those of you that are solopreneur, entrepreneurial, or thinking about starting a business, or you have a business and you've been struggling to get it past the hump because you feel like you're trapped in it. And so that's what we're walking through today. So far in the foundation, we've talked about freeing yourself from the past, basically breaking those preconceived notions that you had and inaccurate ideas people have about running your own business. Creating an organization, even though you're by yourself. How do you create an organization and start delegating out tasks to make your life easy and the things you're not very good at or don't want to do? You understanding the purpose. Who are you? What are you? Why you exist? Why are you doing this business? And what is the outcome you're looking for, both in the business and your personal life? N was the network, the importance of making connections to network. So you have people to talk to, people that you can provide services and just things to you. And honestly, to make opportunities happen that you wouldn't normally be able to do because you didn't know that people out there were the right connections. And then, so we're getting into the disciplines part. That's the D in the foundations. And the discipline, there's several aspects. One is we've already talked about, you need multiple disciplines to run your business. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you do need people that know accounting, people that know business development, marketing, sales, IT, payroll processing, all that stuff that's got to happen. People that can advise you on taxes, people that can advise you on the right business entity to form, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever it is. People that can advise you on what to do with the assets your business is producing. Do you put that in a trust? What do you do? So you need people, legal help, title help, accounting help, escrow, whatever it is that you need out there, suppliers and vendors that you need. So you need to build out the network. So you need all those disciplines, and that's where the networking and the organization piece come together, finding these disciplines. Then you need to understand your particular discipline and be an expert at it. If you're going to be your own business and you have a product or a service, if it's in an industry that already has competition out there, there's already companies, you need to make sure that you are not just a little bit better. You need to be a lot better so that people will go to you instead of going to the known, trusted brand. That's just it. If you're cooking hamburgers, you better have a much better hamburger than all the known chains and restaurants do. Otherwise, people will go to the known, trusted brands. You have to have something different, unique, and superior. So be great at your discipline. Discipline yourself to be good at your discipline. Also, there's disciplines you need to have. For example, I am not a morning person. A lot of people think that because I came out of the construction business and I do a lot of things. And people think, oh, you must be up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have more stuff done by breakfast. And no, I'm not a morning person. I am foggy-headed and a little bit dippy in the mornings. I'm not myself until I've been up, walked around, got some blood flowing and that kind of stuff. I'm better in the afternoon, in the midday, okay in the afternoon, very strong in the evening. I can stay up all night and I get the creative energy comes out and I'm producing and putting performance together and putting investor packages together and figuring out deal structures and planning and strategizing and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes getting lost in it and not realizing, you look up and you go, oh my gosh, it's 1:30 in the morning. I didn't realize how late it got. That's the way I'm built. There are other people that have that level of energy between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when they get all their creative juices flowing. And by 8 o'clock at night, they're burnt, they're fried, they can't think straight anymore. So understand, discipline yourself to be able to get up a little earlier than you wanted to and stay up a little later than you planned, but still getting a good sleep. And there's things you can cut out to allow that to happen. I don't do very much social media at all. Now for my business, that may not be a good thing, but for personally, I find I can get a lot more things done if I don't spend a lot of time engaging in that. So the Facebook and the Instagram, I do LinkedIn not as well as I should or as often as I should because that's a business platform. YouTube, I'm not as good at posting up on YouTube as I should, but I do learn a lot from YouTube. I do find a lot of educational material on there. And sometimes I spend more time than I should in there. I do love to read books, and so I'll prioritize that. And so you have to kind of discipline yourself to figure out, and all of us are a work in process. Nobody's got it figured out completely. I have to discipline myself to go to the gym. I like to go to the gym at least 2 or 3 days a week. I like to ride my bicycle 1 or 2 days a week on long rides. And honestly, I don't always feel like it when I leave. Most of the time, if I go to the gym in the evening after I've worked all day, I don't feel like it. I want to sit down, I want to veg, I want to eat, I want to just turn everything off. And again, because I'm sort of introverted, I like to recover from all my social activity of the day, but I force myself. And then when I'm done, I feel much better about it, and I have to do that to maintain my health. So I would tell you, you have to create the disciplines in your life, create the routines that keep you balanced. It works in your business, but also keeps you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually in tune, and financially. So that's kind of the disciplines. The A in foundations is accentuate priorities. So as we're working through these disciplines, prioritize. This goes back to if you understand your purpose and you've figured out how to organize your business and network to find people in different disciplines, you start accentuating the priorities, meaning this is what I'm going to do first. And this goes into, there's the urgent, important, if you've seen that. A lot of people give Stephen Covey credit for that. That was in his book, 7 Habits of Effective Leaders. It previously was known as the Eisenhower Matrix, so I assume it must have come from Dwight Eisenhower. And that's where you take everything on your task list and you sort it out by, is it urgent or no? Is it important or no? And then you have 4 quadrants. You have what is urgent and important, what is important but not urgent, what is urgent but not important, and what is neither important nor urgent. And you sort everything out by that to create the priorities. Now, there are the things that are very important and they're urgent. For example, if you have to get a proposal out, and the proposal is worth money to your business, you've got to get that out in order to generate a business deal, and it's due tomorrow. That's going to be important and it's going to be urgent. There are other things that are important that are not urgent, but you cannot ignore them. You always do the important before you do the urgent, although everything in our human body wants to do the urgent before we do the important. And the reason is the urgent things usually have other people hounding us to do things. They're beating on us to do stuff. Okay, but that's what's important to them, not important to you. You need to focus on what's important to you and then do the most urgent of those important things and then do the non-urgent of the important things before you put your attention to those things that are urgent but not important. Example, putting money away for retirement. If you're in your 20s or 30s, that's not an urgent thing for you. You got plenty of time to think about that. And yet, you know intellectually that if you started in your 20s and did the same thing, you would have 3 times as much money when you retired than if you started in your 30s and much more than if you started in your 40s. But because it's not urgent, we forget it. And yet it's extremely important. So you focus on the important even though it's not urgent. Those are the things that get forgotten. Our procrastination is checked by fear and anxiety of deadlines. And when we have things that are extremely important but don't have deadlines attached, like taking care of your health, like saving for retirement and those type of things, we will miss those, and those are extremely important. And in the long term, they become the most urgent thing we have, and it's too late to do anything about it. So that's how you prioritize things. Family is more important than work, right? Relationships, people are more important than profits. Having said that, if you don't have any money, you can't take care of them. So it is important to provide some kind of provision, but you can't destroy the relationships in the process. So accentuate your priorities are. If your priority is to go travel the world, then you have to put together your strategy and your system in order to support that. If your priority is to send your kids to college, then you need to set up college funds and be able to service those college savings plans for them. And put some time into helping them with their schoolwork and so they can qualify for it. So you have to set the priorities, what's important to you. So accentuate those priorities. So we freed ourselves from the past. We've created an organization. We understand our purpose. We've worked on networking. We know the disciplines that we need to get and the discipline we need to have. We've accentuated priorities, and now we have to set targets. So targets, goals. Imagine you went to a basketball game. Let's say you went up to LA. You're watching the Lakers play the Celtics. It's a great game, except they took the hoops off the backboards. And it's still the bouncing and the dribbling and the passing and the jumping and all the stuff, but there's no way to keep score. There's no baskets. How boring is that game going to be, even though the rest of the game is in place, all the stuff we talk about? Well, because there's no goals, it's meaningless now. You need to have targets. You need to have targets and a way to score things and a way to count things. And in your business, you do too. You need to have some metrics. And again, this is where maybe there's an outsourced virtual assistant or something, an application or something that can track some of these for you. You need to know your basic financials. You need to know your incomes and your expenses. You need to know what's owed. You need to know who owes you, and you need to be able to follow up and collect on what's owed to you. You need to know where is the best price and service and quality of the supplies that you need and the services that you need. You need to be able to track all that and have targets of how many customers or clients you're going to serve. What type of, what level of volume are you going to generate, and how much of that's going to result in profit after you've covered your overhead expenses. Again, a lot of people don't like this part of it, so maybe you need to outsource with some type of an accountant or a financial person that can help you with this, or find an app that helps track these things. So you need to have targets, and you need to work those targets, regularly check those and score them, and then go back and figure out, why am I not meeting these? What do I need to change? Is it in the plan? Is it the way I organize things? Is it the way I implemented? What needs to change to affect these targets? And maybe the target was off in the first place, but you need to have some kind of targets to shoot at. Otherwise, there's no way to know if you're going the same direction you want. And remember, sometimes the profitability is only one of those targets, and it may not look good for a while, but everything else may be showing that you're doing everything correctly, and you know if you keep that course, you'll eventually be very profitable. But if you go with a short-term decision to make a fast buck, you will basically derail your long-term profitability. So that's why you need to have these targets and really just vigorously monitor them, check them, and work towards doing better on getting those targets. Know a target. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? What does that look like? How many people do you want working with you? How do you want employees? Do you not want employees? Do you want to work just where you are, multiple states, just around your area? Do you want other services and products that you want to offer at some point? Close your eyes and envision that, and then set those targets. And the truth is, if you miss those, you're further than if you didn't have those targets. If I set a target to jump 100 yards, I can't jump that, but I'll probably, if I practice long enough, jump further than if I set my goal to jump a foot. So that's why, or if I had no goal whatsoever. So set those targets. All right, so we're talking to you about your building a solid foundation of your business. I'm Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistants with a wide range of services, including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316. Then become one of the finest women in real estate.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, KCAA radio.com.
You're listening to Fabulous Lifestyle Radio. I'm your host, Ricky Perry, and we are affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and Sports, where we broadcast to over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles area. If you missed our previous shows, you can watch us on our streaming networks on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and the Android app.
Solid Foundations. This is Steve Matley. Today we've been talking to you about building the solid foundation of your business. The show's name, Building Solid Foundations, came from the name of a company that I started that was designed to help people build the solid foundations under their businesses. And understanding that the business is part of a holistic life. You need to also focus on your relationships and your physical health and those type of things as well. So as we were walking through foundations as an acronym, we talked about one, freeing yourself from past from past assumptions, from past ideas. Building an organization, even though you're by yourself, maybe starting, still building an organization, putting a chart together, understanding your purpose, networking to create connections with people that may be customers, that may be collaborators, that may be vendors, that may be suppliers. Disciplines, understanding which disciplines you need to have to put in your business as outsources, as employment, whatever you need. Also disciplining yourself to do the things that are outside of your comfort zone that need to be done. Accentuating your priorities, understanding what's important in your business and in your life, and making sure that we don't get out of whack on what's truly important. Don't forget why we're doing things by being so focused on what we're doing. Setting the targets, creating some metrics, creating some goals, creating some desired outcomes that we are working towards, and then tracking our progress towards them. So the I now is invest. We need to invest time, we need to invest money, and we need to invest ourselves into what we're doing. Now, most people put a lot of themselves in a business, then a lot of their time and money. We need to invest it wisely. When you invest in anything, we have a lot of investors come to us in the company that I work with. They have to vet everything. They have to make sure it's a good, solid investment, that there's going to be a payout. So before you just blindly throw money into business, before you blindly sign up to put a lot of time out there, put a lot of your effort into something, do a little bit of vetting on your own and say, is this going to give me an adequate return on my investment, do I think? Now, you don't have a crystal ball and you don't control the universe. So there always is risk, but can you make an educated guess on where and how much is the right amount of your time to invest, of your money to invest, of your effort to invest into any part of building your business? But you do need to invest, but you need to do it wisely, and you need to do both. Now, one thing I'll say with people as they go into business, we talk a lot about success. We talk about the desire and the motivation of being successful. That is true, but it takes a backseat, very much so, and it's a wide difference. It's a big difference between what really motivates us. The true motivator isn't so much the desire for success, it's the fear of failure. And that's what keeps us from doing things. That's why we will make some bad decisions, because we're afraid of what might happen if we don't, or what might happen if we do this thing, we don't do something we should do. Because our fear of losing money, our fear of being made a fool of, our fear of being ridiculed, our fear of losing our reputation, those kind of things. And that's a much stronger fear for most people. So embrace that, understand that. It's that the human animal is designed to protect itself. And so you embrace that and understand, okay, let's use that to our advantage and use that to critically vet how much and where and what I'm investing in my business, monetarily, time, effort, so that I can then, again, with the idea, where are my priorities? So I've got my priorities figured out. I've got targets, goals I figured out, so that I know where and how to best invest to get closer to the stated targets that I have. So we have to look at what we're investing and how we're investing, but we do need to invest. And generally, most businesses will not pay out for 3 to 5 years after we start them. So are we prepared for that? And that's why, well, maybe not. But that's why a lot of people keep that W-2 job for a while, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it just makes you more tired. Okay, the O in foundations is outsource. Now, we've talked about this all through the show, so I'm not going to go deep into this. But outsource means when we built that organization chart, we networked, we decided what disciplines we needed. We figured out who we need to go out, get rid of some of these boxes in our organization chart. I don't want to do this, or this, so I'm going to hire other people to do that. Or I'm just going to, I'm going to use a VA. I'm going to use, maybe I'm going to trade services with somebody. There's some way I'm getting that off my plate at least partially, if not completely. So we need to outsource those things, especially those things that we don't like and don't do well, because those are the things that we will procrastinate and not do that'll come back and really bite us in our business. And usually those are very important things. You don't want to be in trouble because you didn't pay your taxes because the one thing you hated was doing all the accounting and finance and you just kept putting it off until it was too late. That's a big problem. So that's just an example. There's a lot of things we can do that with. Maybe you're like me and you don't like networking and that stuff very much. Even though once you're there, you enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. I really do. I enjoy learning from people. It's just getting there. It's the idea of being social that gets to me. And because that's just the way I'm made up. So I need to be able to do that so I can find the people that I can then outsource different disciplines to. And then the N in the foundations is internet. Understand how to wisely use the internet for your business. Now, in my business, I cannot publicly advertise our projects. That's just rules under the SEC because the way we do things, there are syndications, and so we don't. My website is, so I don't worry about SEO and all that kind of stuff. So that's not what I do with my website. My website is a place for investors to start vetting us. It's got some past projects. It's got a description of some of the projects we're going to do. There's no promises of anything. It's got videos of different people talking about educational things in there. It's got backgrounds of the managers, so they have a place to start looking at us. It's not selling anything, and so it's not designed to sell anything. And then I do these shows and the YouTube, and a lot of that's to support that. It's just to support what we're doing there to help educate people, so they have a place. And I don't have to explain everything all the time. I just go by, here, I did this show on this. Go ahead, listen to this recording. Or I had a person on who talked about self-directed IRAs. Go listen to that recording and learn all about it. Because I'm not the expert in it, but I talked to someone who was. And so I can share that information with people. That's a lot of why I do this show, is getting information out there that I'm interested in and sharing it with other people. I figure if I'm interested in learning, there's probably other people are too. And so use the internet wisely. Again, don't get buried in social media for entertainment purposes, but use the social media to support your business. And one thing I will say, if you're not in a business of being a political commentator, stay away from the political commentary. Okay, all that can do is lose you customers. You don't need to do that unless your business is political commentary. In that case, it's fine. But if you're not an analyst, then if you're selling something that's neutral, stay neutral with that. And in your personal life, you can talk to people. And then the last thing in soft foundations is the S is start now. Just as Nike says, just do it. Go start doing something now. And that is the most difficult thing for a lot of people, is getting past the fear of starting. So the foundations of starting your business: free yourself from the past, create an organization, understand your purpose, network, work on those disciplines, accentuate your priorities, set your targets and monitor them, invest time, money, effort as wisely as possible, outsource all those things that you don't do well or don't want to do, wisely figure out how to use the internet to your best advantage, and start now. That is how you build the solid foundations of your business. I'm Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations Radio, right here on KCAA. We're here every week. Don't forget to check us out on the streaming Roku channel, Amazon Fire, and Android. That's the Building Solid Foundations channel. That is a free channel with a lot of other great shows on it as well. We're also on your favorite podcast platform. And until next week, go do something different this week.
Miss your favorite show? Download the